Hey, what's going on, guys? Tonight I had an interesting experience. I was at a bar and there's a group of girls, right? I'm like 5'10". I'm not a tall guy, but there's a group of girls that were talking, and I tried to interject into their conversation, and they quickly kind of took me out of it. Like, they didn't want to talk to me. And keep in mind, it's also kind of a racist area, and I'm kind of a brownish guy, and these girls were white. So I was like, whatever, and I just turned around. I walked and I went to the other side of the bar, right? But they didn't reject me, but they just said we're in the middle of a conversation. So pretty much they're just trying to get me out. And it was amazing when I saw it. There's a guy who is 6'6". He was decent looking. He was probably like a 6 facially, maybe 6 to 7 facially, but his height was 6'6", right? And he was wearing kind of fashionable type clothing. As soon as he walked in, the girls stopped talking to each other, stopped discussing their story, and man, the eye contact this guy was getting from these girls, and they were trying to talk with him and smiling when they're making eye contact with him. And Jesus, man, it was crazy. Literally, he just walked in and all the girls were pre-picking him, pre-choosing him. And it was so blatant. It's like, again, obviously, personality had nothing to do with it. Zero. It was just it was his looks and his height that attracted the women, and they completely accepted him purely based on those two criteria. They were, but it was interesting. I'll tell you what happened. So they were very interested in him, and one blonde chick was like literally like hugging him and like trying to pull him over to the bar, and like she was like embarrassed to like show it in front of the other dudes who are watching. So she like moved him like in front of her, so he was covering the other dudes, so other dudes couldn't see her. But man, the eye contact this girl was making was crazy. And then all her friends as well doing the same eye contact. It's like you could tell by a woman's eyes when they like a guy, And all of them were doing it. It was crazy. Even the ones who acted disinterested, like I noticed at certain points they would just kind of like out of nowhere just look at this dude for like a while, like prolonged stares. And I was thinking to myself, like, wow. It made me like wonder about the debate between height and face. It's a tough choice, man. It's really it's a tough debate. But I'll tell you something interesting. So they're talking to the guy. The blonde chick gives her number to him, and they're leaving. And the other girls were saying like, the blonde one was getting with this guy, right? And her friends were saying like in front of me, saying like, I don't like that guy, blah, 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 right? So they're trying to like infer that they don't like the guy, but in reality, as soon as he walked in, all their attention was on this guy. So they're saying, I don't like this guy, and saying bad things about him because the blonde girl, I guess, already took the guy, and they're upset about it or envious, or the exact opposite is the truth, which is most likely the case. They're saying, I don't like this guy, but as in a playful, joking way, but in reality, the exact opposite is the case, and it's their way of hiding it. I don't know. But it was interesting. It's just that it was just amazing looking at the power of being very tall and good looking. It was insane how if there's any women who say personality matters more than looks, I wish I could videotape that, because that was one of the most black pilling sceneries I've ever black pilling scene I'd ever seen. It was so obvious. And like the other guys in the bar, they're around 5'10", some of them were 5'8", etc. they weren't attracting these women at all. The women were ignoring them. It's like women like are just waiting for the right guy. They every other guy is useless if he doesn't have that, like, if he's not a 7+ in looks, those guys are completely invisible. It was funny. Then I went outside and I was talking to these 3 people. There's 2 girls and 1 guy, and I was asking them. I told them about like how tall I got into a black pill conversation. I just asked them what their perspective was. I said like in this area, I told them, like, I feel like women are very shallow. They only choose guys based on looks and money. And then, like, there's this overweight, like, literally 200-pound blonde girl. And she's, like, 5'11". She's really tall, too. And her boyfriend is this, like, short, stubby-looking guy with a beard. And he's fat. And his face is, like, literally round. And they start talking, and she's like, no, for me, it's a lot more about, personality and blah, blah, blah. And then I look at her, then she's like, we've been dating for this many months, blah, blah, blah. And then I look at them and I'm like, that's not a good, example of anything, because you probably got rejected by like 1,000 dudes. And this guy is like the only guy who decided to stay with you because he has no options. That's what I was like. I wanted to say that, but, obviously I'm not going to. And it was funny when they're leaving each other, like the guy is going home alone and the girl is going with her friend, who knows where. They didn't even kiss goodbye. They just was like, all right, see ya, like friends. But apparently they're in a relationship. Yeah, you'll notice when a girl likes a guy, there you could see genuine desire women have for a guy, and that genuine desire, that love that women have towards a man is primarily based on genetics. It's not based on his personality, his character. 90% of the time, the genetics are the primary reason for a woman loving a guy. You'll see it. Like, listen, go to an airport, right? And notice certain couples where the girl is very invested and cares really much about the guy, leaving and is like crying or whatever. Notice that, and then notice the, attractiveness of the guy. He's usually an attractive guy, okay, physically. Okay, and then while you're at the airport, notice the unattractive guys. They probably are not even going to be with women, most of them, and look at the average height guys. They're probably not going to, or short guys. They're not going to be with women. And if they are, the woman is not exactly, crying that they're leaving. They don't care. So they're probably thinking to themselves, like, okay, he's gone. Let me download Tinder and sleep with some, higher SMV guy. Anyways, it was interesting though, because women put up a lot of facades. I think they put up a facade to control the perspective of other men in order to gain approval in society. I guess it's an evolutionarily designed trait. So when I was in this bar, for instance, these girls are looking at this guy bug-eyed. They're looking at him like it's like they're starving people, and there's like a delicious steak in front of them or something. That's what they were looking at this guy like they were looking so desirous towards this guy. Every other guy was invisible there, just this one dude. And then they're coming up to me, and in my vicinity, they ignored me before. They like shooed me away. Then they come back in my area and they start saying, I don't like that guy. And they're like looking at me and trying to get my, acknowledgement of the situation. And I obviously got annoyed because it's like, yeah, you do like the guy. And you're just upset that your blonde friend has him all to herself. And then, that's what I was thinking. I didn't say anything. I just kind of took a breath and then walked away. I didn't want to hear these chicks. I don't like women's games. And I don't know. If you look at, videos of women speaking today and, at a bar and at a club, etc., you'll notice 90% are kind of stupid. Let's be honest. Women are not exactly intelligent creatures, especially today. Let's be honest. I know I'm going to get, I can get my account deleted for that by some crazy, feminist lady. But it's true. Women are quite stupid today. And if you argue that, just watch interviews of women at, a bar, a club, in person, on the street, anywhere. Most women are like, there's, for instance, I saw this video where this guy is like interviewing this girl, and he's like, "What matters more, height or looks?" And then the girl's like, "Height." And then I was like, then she was like, "The guy can't be under 6 foot." And then the guy interviewing her was like, "But I'm 5'10". And then she's like, "Yeah, but it's okay because you're taller than me." So that's like the intelligence of women right there. And then there's another video of this girl at the beach where the guy mentions, some guy's height, and then he's like, "Which is better, this guy who's 5'6" or 6'2"? And she's like, "The taller one." And she was like, he's probably a better person too." So she's like inferring that the guy who's 6'2" is a better person than the guy who's 5'6". I don't know. That's women today. If you listen to them, you'll realize there's low intelligence and very low level thinking. Most women are not exactly, their mental characteristics today are not exactly, admirable. And I just got to be honest, man. The women I communicate with are just, dude, I cannot listen to them for more than like 2 minutes. Most women, I just, man, I need a woman who could actually like communicate and have a logical conversation and be at least a little bit like informed and thoughtful. I don't want someone really stupid like most women. I'm sorry. I'm just got to be honest. Most women, their intelligence is like, what the hell? Like, it's not their IQ per se. Yeah, I do think that's definitely part of it. But it's more like, I think it comes from the fact that they're like little kids. They're like, if you go to how do I say? It's like they get everything handed to them. They don't have to be smart. They don't have to think. And it makes sense. If a child gets everything the child wants and they don't have to work for anything, they're going to be missing a lot of characteristics and mental faculties than a child who has to actually like work and put effort and forth into, achieving something or getting something that they want. But so women, especially the typical upper middle class white girl in this neighborhood, dude, they grew up pretty much everything given to them. They've never had to put effort in any way, and as a result, I talk to them and I'm like looking at them like, wow, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you like 5 years old? Like I really think they're like little kids in adult bodies. It's when I talk to them, I'm just, of course there are women who are very intelligent and very respectable, mentally, but I'm talking about the majority, and the majority are absolutely not. And that's, I will put up with any, feminist person to discuss that. I don't care. I'm just telling the truth. And I've met a lot of women in my life. I've met a very large amount, and I've lived in a lot of places. In America, it's a really bad situation for like the mental, faculties of women. It's horrible. Women are just like thoughtless today, especially in the West. They have no thinking of their behavior. They literally wake up and just, It's like they wake up, they want something, they easily get that thing, and then they go back to sleep. That's kind of like how women are today. Like they wake up, what do I want today? And then they get that thing, they go to sleep, and they find something new they want the next day, and they don't care about any other person, guy, and what, like, they treat guys like candy. One day they'll want this candy, next day they'll want this candy, but they don't think to themselves, what would this first candy think, and how would this candy feel if I go with this other candy? No, they literally just lack empathy for guys that they date, like, significantly. But the thing that happened in the bar, which was kind of interesting, was like, so they put up a facade. It was weird. Like, so they were first bug-eyed looking at this guy, being really thirsty towards this dude, and then all of a sudden, the friends and etc. started walking up to me, telling me they don't like this guy. He's this and that. He's a player, whatever. I think that's what they were saying or thinking, and it was weird because the main blonde girl who got this dude's number, they exchanged numbers. She was treating him like ignoring him towards the end. So here's what I think, what I've noticed. I think looks matter very, very much, especially in the first 15, 20 minutes, right? But once a girl kind of like implores further and tries to figure out, more qualities about you, there could be certain things that destroy it, or things that make you less appealing. But at first, it is a prerequisite. When they meet a guy who fulfills that, prerequisite of, height and looks, they get excited, they pursue that guy, generally, and but when they implore further and they try to understand the guy's personality, his thinking, I think that it could possibly ruin it. I've had experiences where I was with an absolute Chad, good-looking dude in San Francisco. He's from Australia. He was a professional rugby player, right? And we meet these three girls, and they're very attractive, these girls. They literally would ignore me, but because I was with this dude, they came with us, and we went to a strip club. And we're at the strip club. It was funny because the girls we were with were so much prettier than the strippers, and the strippers kind of knew it. So I don't know. It was funny. But this guy was talking to this Chad guy, the most attractive dude in the group, was talking with the least attractive girl in the group. And I think the friends are trying to like connect her to a good-looking guy because she probably doesn't date. And something happened where I don't know what it was, but I think he said something really bad. I don't know what it was, but then the girl like completely avoided that guy afterwards, like the rest of the night. So something he said screwed it up. So don't get me wrong, like women absolutely have a prerequisite filter. They have a criteria, and if you don't fulfill that criteria, they will ignore you. You'll be invisible for the most part. But it doesn't end there. Once you have that criteria, there's also the next level where you do have to have, generally, there's the next level where if you do the wrong thing, it could ruin it. So it's extremely difficult. If you're trying to go out there and deliberately trying to succeed with women, it is not an easy process. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. I don't know what this Australian guy said to the girl, but the girl completely avoided him the rest of the night. And then when it was time for us to go, we were planning on going back to the hotel all together, It was going to be 3 girls, 3 guys. I was going to get with probably the more high status looking girl, and she was willingly coming to the taxi. There was a fat Australian rugby player who was going to get with this she was a pretty attractive chick as well. And the fat Australian rugby player was also very tall, though, so that helped, right? So that made it possible. And then the Chad one, he was going to get with he was supposedly going to get with the least attractive girl in the group. But when it came time for us to get in the cab, or go over to the hotel, she really didn't want to go. And I was looking at her like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is she hesitating so much? I was thinking to myself, like, oh my God, this femcel chick is going to ruin our situation here. And then, she's avoiding getting the taxi. And it was because of the guy. It was because something this guy said. I don't know what the hell he did. But it was like, I've never seen something like that in my life, where she was really into him at first, and then they talked for a while. And then something happened. And he said something that really made her uncomfortable, or really grossed her out. I don't know what it was. Scared her. I don't know. But she was avoiding that guy, and she didn't want to get in the cab because she was worried about getting with this dude, being with this guy. And when I talked to him, he seemed like a really nice dude too. And so the girls leave, and it's just me, this fat Australian rugby player in the back seat, with the Chad Australian rugby player in the front seat. And the fat one is like, do you have any other plans tonight? Do you have any, he was like, we were all bummed out. We were like, oh shit, we lost those girls. And then the fat one is like, do you have any other plans tonight? Is there any other area to go? And it was 4:00 in the morning. So I was like, no more plans tonight. I'm going home. And then, he was like, he asked me if I had any plans. And I said, I verbally said, well, I did have plans, but they just left us. So when I said that, the Chad Australian rugby player, he looked very upset first. Like, he immediately got out of the taxi and started running down the street. I was wondering, like, what the hell is going on? He starts running down the street, and I think there's something seriously wrong with this guy, and I don't want him to get hit by a car. So I quickly got out of the taxi and I chased after him. I was like, I wanted to stop him, see what the hell's wrong. I knew something happened between him and the girl. I didn't know exactly what happened, but I didn't want this guy. He seemed like a good dude. I think he was a good dude. I really do. I just think he said something weird. I don't know exactly what he said, but he just ran, and I chased after him, and I tried to get in the cab, and I got into the next cab. He ran into another cab, and I ran into the back seat, and I was like, "Are you all right? Like, are you this and that?" And then as soon as I get in, he's quiet. Then he opens the door and jets again. He runs out of there and sprints away. And he's a rugby player, so I'm not exactly planning on chasing him, right? But that was very interesting. So that's a case of a Chad ruining, an interaction. There's definitely a point after, the looks get you through the front door, which is, and they do a lot more than that too, right? They do a lot. Looks do a lot, but they absolutely get you. One thing they absolutely do is get you through the front door. And but once you're through the front door, what you do can ruin it. What you do can just you have to keep in mind, it's not like you could get through the front door and then do whatever you want. No, once you're through the front door, you also have to have good game, I guess you could call it. You do. Most of the time. Like, of course, there's women who don't care about game at all, but you need some level of social, social grace, social intelligence, etc. But yeah, it's the debate is on, man. I'm trying to decide what do you guys think matters more, height or face. I've seen, especially at a bar, I think the height matters more, especially at a nightlife type scenario. Just because it captures the attention, and women, it's crazy what I've noticed. Women tend to show more respect off the bat to taller guys, like taller, more intimidating looking guys. Women tend to automatically show respect to them. And shorter guys, they don't give the same level of respect. I'm 5'10", right? I walked up and I tried to talk to these girls and they kind of shunned me. They shooed me away. They were just like, we're in a conversation right now. And I was like, oh, all right. So they were pretty disrespectful to me and they were just kind of like rude. So I just walked away. And then like this guy, this 6'6" dude just walks in this bar and they're so bug-eyed at this guy. It was crazy watching it. I wish I could videotape the whole thing. It was just like how much like, desire that they had for this guy in their look. I was thinking to myself like, wow, like every other guy in this bar never gets that look. No other guy in this bar gets the same treatment as this guy. And yeah, it's so I'm trying to decide, in your guys' opinion, what do you guys think matters more, height or face, and why? People always bring up examples of Tom Cruise and the guys from BTS, but in my opinion, if those guys walk into a bar and they're next to a guy and they're 5'7", and they're next to a guy who is 6'6", I think they will be invisible to most women, and women will be focused on the guy who's 6'6". That's, in my opinion, that's what I've noticed. I'm starting to see women though a lot more like, them having own personal, a little bit more specific tastes, I guess you could say. It's not like they have to be good looking, but they could be a variety of good looking, right? So yeah, there are definitely shorter guys who are good looking too. I'm not denying that. But in a bar scenario, I definitely think height matters a lot. Anyways, your guys' perspective would be good. I'll try to respond in the text, the chat. There's a guy who wanted to get in touch with me. I was trying to send my email, but this YouTube situation is not letting me send a comment. Anyways, thank you. All right, bye.